Hey everyone, welcome back to Steven's Weight Watchers Kitchen, and today we are going to be doing shrimp pho. Depending on how you serve it, will range from 6 to 11 points. And the reason for that is I make this as a full meal, so it's about 11 points. This entire thing's approximately 20 to 22 points. But if you do make it separately and say you want to serve as a side dish to 4 people, then it will be approximately 5 to 6 points. So first things first, start of the dish. We need some shrimp. This is gonna be raw. Either these are the small, I think medium works well, deveined, tail off, peeled. All 3 of those things, or else you're gonna have to put a lot more work in. You can use medium size as well. These are Simply Asia Japanese style ramen noodles. These carry almost all the points. They're pretty low, all things considered. I wanna say like 18 or 20 of the points I think comes from here. So do keep that in mind. Chives and jalapenos, these are the mild. These are more so for flavoring. Then we have some bean sprouts, a can of this. Then we also have some low sodium chicken stock. We have approximately 64 ounces worth. So do keep that in mind. And then lastly, we're gonna be putting in some eggs as well. So without further ado, let's get prepped. The first things first is we're gonna open up our chives or green onions, whichever you prefer to get. And we're just gonna cut some up. How much is completely up to you. It's more so a texture and a little bit of flavoring. So I will take, I'm actually just gonna cut from the top here. So, just small pieces. You don't want them to be too super big. So now what we're gonna do is take a bowl and just get this into the bowl here. We're just going to put the jalapenos. I'm not really interested in the juice necessarily, but since these are going to be cooked first, doesn't really particularly matter. So again, it's really up to you. This is more so, like I said, flavor, texture, and it'll give it a little bit of heat. So there's no, since these are pretty much going to be 0 points, there's really no like right and wrong answer how many you want. I do recommend cooking these down though with it rather than putting them in later. So all we need to do here is open this and drain it a fair bit. So let's sit here for a few minutes while it drains. Simply cold, slightly warm water is all you need, but you can still see there's a fair bit of frost in here, so let's get our water going here. Again, we don't want it hot. We don't even really want it lukewarm. We want it kind of leaning on the cold side because we're not trying to cook it. These will cook within the last 3 minutes of the pho, so there's no reason to do anything other than get a thaw going here. So I usually will put these in a coldish with a little bit of warmth water for about 20 minutes. So now that they're pretty much drained, I just put in a bowl and off to the side. They're still a little wet, which is fine. I don't cook them down. This adds a fair bit of texture to the dish when you pour the broth over top of it. So we're gonna put this to the side for now. Okay, first things first. Load this up with a fair bit of nonstick. You're definitely gonna wanna make sure nothing burns. We will put this on a low heat for now. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to take our minced garlic and chives and jalapenos with a little bit of stock. So do the garlic first here. It's up to you. I just throw, gotta get some flavoring going in the broth, right? So we'll do that. Then we'll toss in all these guys here. Now most of this will be for simmering purposes. This will be the only time we'll bring anything to quote unquote a boil. So there we go. Just enough to kind of line the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to turn this up a fair bit because we do want to get this to reduce a little bit. Now we have this in an all-out boil. So we did cook it down somewhat here. We'll keep the flame up for now because as we add more stock, it will stop boiling, and our goal is we need to get this to a simmer. So we're going to, as we start to see the edges start to boil, we'll slowly turn down the heat. So what you do is you turn down the heat, wait for it to come up to a very slight boil, and you keep turning down to your about medium low. And then it'll be a very, very mild boil or simmer for about, at that point, we'll do it for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to put in the other bit of stock. So we do have this on high. There we go. Just know you're using about 8 cups of stock, so make sure your bowl, or well, I guess pan or whatever you're cooking in, has everything you need. So we're going to add some salt, and then we're going to go ahead and add some more pepper in, just for some flavoring. And I'm going to leave off the cayenne this time. I did that last time and added a little bit too much. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we get this mixed up. We'll leave this on high till the boiling process starts, and we'll reduce it to a simmer. Okay, now the shrimp's been aside for about 20 minutes. Good. So this water is now really cold because obviously the shrimp was still frozen. So we're just gonna, with cool water, brush off this. And then what I like to do is, I'll do this off camera, but I try to pat these off dry as much as I can because they do tend to get kind of slimy, and we will throw some salt and pepper on them. So I will, a bowl that was just in, I'll clean that out, dry it, and then I'll put some paper towels in here. That will at least allow it to absorb some of the excess water. But you do want to rinse it off because you'll get that kind of film off of there that it kind of gets from just the preservations and the frozen, whatever. It gets filmy, that's all I know. So now we're going to, and we'll pat it dry a little bit, but we'll just kind of let it sit there for a little bit on the side. So these will most likely dry up. We'll set this to the side, and we are almost done. So that is pretty much what you want to get it to. The outer edges are coming up a little bit, but it's not a boil. It's a simmer, and you want to let it do that for about 20 minutes. You'll add the shrimp in with about 3 minutes left, and we're going to be doing that here in a little bit. Next, let's go ahead and do the noodles. So I'm going to spray this pan, filled up with hot water because hot water will boil a little quicker. A lot of people say cold water boils quicker. I don't subscribe to that theory, but who knows. Okay. We will get this started. And then let's get some salt in here. Always salt your water whenever you're boiling. Once this gets to a boil, these will cook for about 6 minutes. They say 5 to 7, so I go smack dab in the middle for 6. And then whenever we throw those in, we will do the eggs. Then we'll throw the shrimp in. Then we'll serve. Before we throw the shrimp in, we're gonna wanna get some salt and pepper on them. So I took the paper towels out now that they absorb most of the excess water, slime, whatever you wanna call it. There's still a fair bit on here, but it should be fine. And this will give the shrimp a fair bit of flavor because it will cook very fast. Like I said, about 4 minutes. I'll throw a little bit more pepper on, should be good. There we go. Okay. Perfect. We'll set that aside. Okay, now we got a full boil. I just started my timer. Although I did add a few seconds to it to be safe. After this goes on for about a minute or so, you're gonna wanna get either some tongs or something and start pulling these apart. Here we go. Because once the bottom cooks, you can actually start breaking these up so they're all submerged. For the eggs, we're just gonna spray the pan. We're gonna do a total of 4. So either 1 per person or 2 per person, depending on your serving size. So I generally cook them to about an over medium. But my luck is I'll end up breaking a bunch of these yolks. so they'll probably end up being scrambled to some level. Now I only cook them in non-stick, so we don't have to worry about any extra points from butter. Oop. Got the cord there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn up the heat on the rear. So because this is a rear burner, I had it set to medium high, now it's up to high. And these will take about 3 minutes. So I'm looking at the timer here, make sure we don't go much over that. So now, I'm gonna see if I can grab one of these shrimp. Now you can see, hopefully the pinkish color. We're about a minute away and they'll pretty much be good to go. Shrimp cook very quickly. Okay, we will simply drain the noodles very simply like this. Then what we will do is we will start to add some of the noodles here. So I'm breaking up between 2 different dishes. Okay, now we will start to spoon out shrimp. Go back and forth here. Now we'll start our pour like that. Make sure we're pretty even. There's some. And there we go. Shrimp pho ready to serve. Of course, add some soy sauce. It'll be a little bit hot, so I'd recommend adding some ice cubes as well. So that's pretty much it. I will put here link in, directly to the recipe in the link in the description below, and as you should be able to see now, you'll see a really quick screenshot of everything that goes in it. And this is a really good dish. All you do need is the proper spoon, so I do recommend getting the proper ladles for that. And that's pretty much it. If you like the video, like it, dislike if a dislike button, leave a comment, get subscribed. And this is Steve from Steven's Weight Watchers Kitchen. I'll see you in the next video.